Hey there and welcome. Let's talk about something we all use every single day, but maybe don't think about too much. The words we use to build our world. You know, how we talk about our friends, our family, our partners. How does that language actually end up shaping the story of our lives? Well, let's dive in.
So just for a second, really think about it. Who comes to mind? Is it your best friend, your partner, maybe your parents? The faces that just popped into your head? Well, they make up the core of your own personal universe. And how we talk about them, it matters a whole lot more than you might think.
And that's really the heart of it all. Our vocabulary isn't just a bunch of labels we slap on people. No, it's more like a super detailed map that helps us navigate our social lives. It defines our connections, it tells our histories, and it can even point to our futures. It shows us where we've been, who we're with now, and maybe even where we're going.
All right, so let's start with the people we often choose for ourselves first, our friends. It turns out there's a whole playbook of language that charts the course of these really important relationships. You know, from the very first hello to the sometimes tough goodbye.
It's kind of cool when you look at it like this. These simple phrases tell a whole story. On one side, you have all this active language of building and maintaining things, right? You make friends, you work to get to know them, you keep in touch. But language also gives us words for the other side of the coin. You might fall out with someone, which sounds pretty active, or you might just sort of lose touch as time goes on. It's the entire life cycle of a friendship, right there in just a few phrases.
And of course, not all friends are created equal, are they? We have specific words that act like little status markers. You've got your close friends, the ones you can tell anything to. Then there might be that one person who's above all the rest, your best friend. And you can't forget your old friends, the ones who've been there forever, who share a whole history with you. Each one of those little adjectives adds another layer of meaning, another layer of intimacy.
Okay, so let's build on that. We're going to move from the friends we choose to that whole complex web of family and romantic partners. This is where the language gets even more specific, and it starts to reflect some pretty clear stages in life.
You've probably seen this path play out before, right? It's like a social script we all kind of know, and it's defined by these specific phrasal verbs. First, you go out with someone. Then maybe one person proposes to the other, you get engaged to them, and then you get married to them. But check out the subtle change if things go a different way. You get divorced from someone. Language is so precise it marks both the joining and the separating, right down to the tiny prepositions we use.
Here's another one for you to think about. What is the real difference? I mean, they're both people, you know, but those words, they carry totally different weights, don't they? A colleague, that implies you share a workspace, a common goal, but an acquaintance? That's just someone you kind of know, but not that well. These little distinctions are the building blocks of that social map we were talking about.
So when you boil it all down, we use language to sort everyone into categories. First, we have relations by blood. You know, your cousins, your grandparents. Then there are relations by law, the ones created through marriage, like a stepfather or a sister-in-law. And then there's this huge, amazing category of people we bring into our lives by choice, from a partner to our colleagues and even our neighbors.
So, we've seen all the little words we use for relationships. But what happens when you put them all together with other key ideas to tell a person's entire life story? Well, to see that in action, let's look at the incredible biography of a man named David Davies, who lived way back in the 19th century.
Wow, what a journey, right? David Davies started with basically nothing, leaving school when he was only 11 years old. When his father died, the massive responsibility to support his whole family fell on his shoulders. He worked incredibly hard, but his life completely changed when he found coal on his land. That discovery turned him into one of the richest men in Wales. But, and this is the amazing part, he never forgot where he came from, even becoming a politician to serve his local community.
And this is where a really powerful word comes into his story: destiny. That coal discovery, it wasn't just a lucky break. It was a single event that totally changed the future for him and his family for generations. The word destiny makes it feel like it was meant to be, turning a random event into a key moment in this huge, epic story. And even with all that success, Davies never lost his roots. This word is just so perfect because it means more than just a place, doesn't it? It's about that deep, unbreakable connection to his home, his community, his identity. It's what kept him grounded even after he became unbelievably wealthy. It was the anchor in his life story. So that coal, it led to his family's fortune. And notice that word choice, not just money or wealth, but fortune.
It implies money on such a massive scale that it can shape the future for generations to come, creating a true legacy that goes way beyond one man's bank account.
And that legacy just kept going, even after he was gone. His granddaughters inherited that fortune and decided to donate over 260 famous paintings to their country so that everyone could enjoy them. The story of his life doesn't end with getting rich, it ends with giving back. All right, so we've looked at how language defines our relationships, we followed one person's incredible biography. Now let's zoom all the way out. How do we talk about the biggest story there is, life itself? Let's check out a few common phrases that show how we really think about it all. Think about that phrase, full of life. It's so much more than just, being alive, isn't it? It describes this vibrant energy, this enthusiasm you can almost feel, this real engagement with the world.
Oh, we've all heard this one. It's a whole life philosophy packed into just 3 words. Life's too short. It's basically a wake-up call, telling us to stop wasting our precious time on small worries and to focus on what actually matters, what brings us joy.
Now this one can be a bit of a playful jab, or maybe a serious piece of advice. When we tell someone to get a life, we're usually saying they need to find a better balance, to go out and have more fun, more social experiences beyond just work or school.
So simple, right? But asking how's life is so much bigger than just asking how are you? It's an open invitation for someone to share the big picture, their job, their family, their happiness, the whole shebang. It's shorthand for tell me your story.
This phrase is a really powerful statement about personal freedom. Saying it's her life is all about recognizing someone's right to make their own choices, to be the author of their own story, even if we don't totally agree with what they're doing.
And finally, this classic expression of just acceptance. That's life. We say this when things just don't go our way, recognizing that life is full of these small, annoying, unavoidable problems, and sometimes all you can do is just shrug your shoulders and move on.
So, from defining your closest friendships to telling the epic story of a lifetime, it's clear the words we choose are never just words. They're the tools we use to build our reality, to map our connections, and to write our own journey. The language you use is the language of your life. So I guess the only question left is, what story are you going to tell? Thanks so much for joining me.